Citizens of Sway in the Morning, that clip right there, you hearing the voices of Marquita and Deven Carter. It's funny because Tracy G and Mike Muse and myself were just talking about, you know, how we came to know these two beautiful people. And it started here with a platform that in the segment that we do with Sway Chats.
Yep.
And people would call up and say, hey, I have an idea, or hey, I think this is a great idea, or I have a company or business. And there was a young man that called, I'll never forget, he was from North Carolina, and he was like, y'all need to know about Blanket Pancakes. And we were like, are you saying what are you talking about? Blanket, like a blanket. Y'all need to know about Blanket Pancakes. They're down here. It's healthy. I think we were talking about high fructose corn syrup.
Yes.
And I started talking about my dad and his experience with diabetes, ultimately losing my dad due to his experience with diabetes and all the things that I found out, what causes it, the foods that we eat, what to read on different labels. And so your product came up and we started following you. We started talking about you. We reached out to you, all the different things. It reminds me, though, after talking to Mike and Tracy a little while ago, as I was saying it, how we met you guys, I thought about God. I thought about how sometimes you could just randomly be home in your house, or something may happen to you and your family that's a tragedy almost, or could start to be a tragedy, and something beautiful will come out of it. You know, you may get a health scare. You may lose somebody due to something. And in the midst of all of those ashes, if you will, there's something beautiful that God can put in your spirit. And if you are obedient and if you are disciplined, it's the miracle is like right there. And I'm like, my goodness, we have never physically laid eyes on these people. This started from a guy randomly calling this show. I don't think people realize how hard it is to get into a radio
show,
for people to answer your call. So many things have to align with you during the course of the day, from the time you wake up, brush your teeth, stop, maybe answer another call, to even turn the radio on to hear a segment. Then you take a chance and dial. It could be busy. Maybe you call back, you get the call. Then if you look at this phone board, somebody now has to pick and decide which call they're going to take. The odds of that happening, slim to none. I'm not even kidding you. So when I sit here today and see the two of y'all, I see nothing but God. God's miracle, because it's unbelievable that this started with a phone call, somebody saying, y'all need to know about Blanket Pancakes. Fast forward, we are in 500 Food Lion stores. Damn it, don't tell me God ain't real. Show's over, Toll. Show's over. Welcome to the show, Marquita and Deven Carter. Man, round of applause.
Yes. That was great.
Yeah, and necessary and accurate.
That sums up exactly what Deven and I have honestly been experiencing. We really do call our business a God business. Like, he's literally painting our path.
Yeah. So, well, first and foremost, glory be to God. So,
Amen.
Because he's brought us on this platform to, be able to share our story, we give all honor to him. You know, the way we refer to our business is God's business. He just gave us stewardship over his work. Because really, we just stepped out on faith. You know, I remember telling you before about how our story started. Marquita, going through her health complications when she was pregnant with our second son, gave us some motivation to starting the business. And to me, that is like, things don't line up this perfect just out of happenstance. This isn't a luck thing. God preordained us to have this business. Even the situation with her having her complications, having hypertension, preeclampsia, pregnant with our second son, but giving her the motivation to step out and start a business she had in her spirit for years. But, it seemed like there was never a good enough time. It's starting a business is kind of like having kids. You're never going to be ready. No matter how much you prepare, you'll never be fully ready to take on that work. And being able to, just tell my wife, don't worry about going back to work. When you're done with maternity leave, just take off and just start the business. Start your goal. We'll figure it out.
And I would tell you that was faith.
Oh, yeah.
Because we went from a two-income household.
Of course.
With two babies now.
With two babies. and he was a full-time student.
And any residual from the complications you were dealing with from the pregnancy health,
Yes. It was 100%. When they say faith, walking it out, believing in God, and just really just looking first at kingdom and just really believing in what he told you is so true. And that's honestly,
Yeah.
Wow. 888-742-3345. We have the owners of Blanket Pancakes here. Any questions you may want to ask them? Citizens, they are here. And some of you may remember, that call when a citizen called in and said, y'all need to know about Blanket Pancakes.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
never forget it. Tracy G.
Well, the first question is, why pancakes? Like, what is your earliest memory of pancakes that made this the centerpiece of this business?
yeah. So when I was going through my health complications, my husband, he was a full-time student, as I said before, and having a busy lifestyle, you have to have something really quick and easy. And my doctor pretty much gave me a choice. He said, "Listen, you have a choice because we can try to do this holistically, where you can change your diet, or I can give you these pills or whatever the case may be, or you can stay on bed rest." And I said, I had to ask God. I said, okay, I know I have to change something, and what I'm going to try to do is change holistically first. So my husband had to be the one to kind of take that.
Hold on.
Not you.
Okay.
You're hearing DB's voice from the phone.
Okay.
Not her. Hold on.
Okay. So my husband had to basically take on that
role of just cooking
of
and
cooking,
cleaning
and
and
he's not a
everything, so-
cooker. Like, he cooks, but like going in the kitchen, like, Heather B, we watch you, and it's like, no, we're not
thank
gonna
Give me
happen.
inspiration, 'cause I'm
And
like,
it's
I can do that.
Thank you, Devin.
So we had to, honestly, just getting in the kitchen. I had to number one, going to the grocery store. That was my first option.
Yeah.
And when we went through to the grocery store, it was not like the preservatives, everything, all the additives for quick and easy
Yeah.
foods. It was just not something that we could.
I think for me
do.
personally, pancakes and syrup has just always been our go-to breakfast meal.
Yeah.
It's always, something you can,
Quick.
whip up really quick, give the kids. Usually no complaints. You just give them a bunch of syrup and they'll be fine.
Right.
So, we really just wanted to make sure that, as we embarked on kind of this whole lifestyle change, find ways to make it so it wasn't, overly difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
To to go through this lifestyle change. So, taking our favorite meal first, something quick and easy, and then see if we can convert that. And then soon after that, we started working on pretty much all of our recipes. So we converted everything to all natural. But the pancakes and syrup was something that was really a big hit with our family and friends. And they were like, "You got something here. You should really do something with this."
Yes.
So we started going to farmers markets. At first, we had just the syrup products.
Yeah.
So we went to our local farmers markets and let people taste the products, and got some reviews, and we started playing with some flavors, tweaking it, and then we're like, all right, well, let's go do the pancake mix and see how the people think about that. So we end up with the 3 pancake syrups, and then we did the 4 mixes. Well, we had 3 mixes originally, but everybody started asking for vegan. So it's like, okay, well, now we get some traction, and that gave us kind of the inspiration, motivation to the design of the package, the layout of everything, based on just the feedback we were getting, and just the energy and just flowing with it. So,
And good for y'all for really taking that feedback, because a lot of times folks can forget that your customers or potential customers are also your teammates. And when you first get into business, sometimes you're very sensitive, because it's like, all right, if people gonna like this, you're really just looking for positive feedback in a way that says everything you're doing is perfect. But you guys having the humility to be like, no, really, what do you want? And knowing that that's a win for y'all as well, because then you can tweak, come back, and someone be like, there it is, perfect. I think it's such a great lesson.
Thank you. Absolutely. See, I always say, a failure is never a failure. It's an opportunity. So, that gives us a chance to learn and grow from that experience. So we've had plenty of ups and downs, ebbs and flows in business, but with every opportunity we had to take, we took a step back, had some introspection, and I said, okay, let's do this differently next time. Let's see how we can get more excellent.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the word that we use for our business. It's excellence. We don't want to release anything that's not excellent. If we didn't put our whole heart and soul in it, if we didn't really do the due diligence to make sure it worked,
Right.
just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because God is excellent. The way he deals with us is excellent. And if we're going to represent him, we need to make sure we're showing the true image of Christ.
Love it.
Amen. 888-742-3345. Marquita and Deven Carter are here, owners of Blanket Pancakes. If you have any questions, call us up. Mike Muse.
Yeah, fantastic story. I'm curious. We have a lot of listeners who listen to the show who possibly are ideating on a food product. And I'm always curious when I talk with entrepreneurs who are food-based about scale. Right. So can you talk to us in terms of those individuals who are out there who have a product they're thinking about, they're ideating on? How do you scale that? So how do you go from ideation to a product, right? If you can just talk to a little bit about that.
Sure, I can speak to that. I would say the word that always sticks out to me is to be intentional. So there are opportunities where, someone may give you an opportunity, let's say, get in a big box grocery store. But are you really prepared to handle that, the
Inventory,
demand?
yep.
Do you have the inventory in hand? What does your logistics look like? So you should have a full, thorough plan behind that before you really start introducing your brand to the public. We took about a whole year to really scale up and ramp up to the point where we could be a vendor to grocery stores. Our e-commerce business was completely separate. We could do everything pretty much in-house. We kept a small team. Costs were very low. So, we did really great in that market. But as we started looking to branch out, we need to make sure we had several partners lined up in terms of manufacturing our products. How do you, ship your products to your customer? It takes a lot of time on the back end to really work through that, and there's a lot of paperwork involved with that. And, we didn't have anyone to show us that path, unfortunately. So we've always tried to leverage our skills and our experiences to help others, coming up and who has a food business. We've always made ourselves available to anyone, who's had a question about, what is this like? Because that process just took so long for us to get. We really had to find everything out the hard way.
And one more question without giving away any proprietary information, but when it comes to your ingredients, right? Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Did you have a test kitchen? Were you doing this inside your own home? How did you play with the bulk and ingredients to make the packaging? Don't do anything proprietary, but just individuals who are thinking about making a sauce or
that's all you.
I would honestly say start from home first. You get in the kitchen, you basically test what you have, and that's what I did. And I basically used ingredients that I knew my body can understand, because going back to the reasoning why we created it. We created it to be clean, simple, easy to cook, but still good, wholesome ingredients that your body can recognize. So when you create a product, if you're thinking about creating a sauce or, in our case, a syrup or whatever the case may be, you have to really think about the reasoning first. And when you get that reasoning, you begin to do, find the ingredients that match with that reasoning to create.
I want to see one of the packages so I could speak to the citizens directly about it. That you guys have 4 flavors now? Speak on that, Deven.
We have our buttermilk, our chocolate chip, our honey butter, which is my favorite, and we have a vegan pancake mix.
Every single one of their flavors is my favorite. I hit them up randomly. I'm like, yo, what up, okay, I need something. Because when I make them, I'll do like Mike Muse knows. I'll do like an event or something at my place, and sometimes we're doing breakfast dinners, and it's all themed out: fish and grits, pancakes and sausages, waffles, and whatever. And you guys, everybody has really flipped out over your product, especially having a vegan option, with people now in health. I literally just did a show yesterday, HB Live, about learning how to read labels. I don't think people are properly reading food labels. They don't understand it. It's not designed for us to really understand. So when I turn this over, and sugar is the main thing that people do not pay attention to. It's what causes so many of the health crises that we're dealing with in our community. Total carbohydrates, people can figure that out. But when it says total sugars, 6 grams, included 2 grams of added sugar, that's it. That's it. A lot of times people see sugar and it's 18 grams, but you're not paying attention to the added grams. And then it's 34% or 34 grams or 4. That's a lot of sugar. You don't have to worry about that with this product, which I think you guys did a beautiful job with doing. I think this is unbelievable, and it's helping out so many of us in the community just in terms of health. Real talk. It's good. And it's great, but the fact that you guys took into consideration the sugar and everything else, unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the biggest thing is we wanted to be health conscious, because we know for a lot of people, just saying I'm going to be, vegan or I'm going keto, that's not a reality for a lot of people, because not everyone could be that diligent with their diet. A lot of people slip. So we wanted to give people a healthier alternative than what they're accustomed to. So, as you're transitioning, you don't have to feel like you're sacrificing your taste, or, enjoying food in the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Which is why we have taste good naturally on our products, because we want people to always know that you don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
Absolutely agree. 888-742-3345. Got a lot of phone calls here. People want to talk to you. Starting with EJ. He's calling out of West Virginia. What up, E?
What up, E?
Good morning, fam.
How you
Good morning,
doing?
fam. How we doing?
Say
Back
hello
again,
to
man.
yes,
You know,
baby. Say hello to Marquita and Deven.
Hi.
Marquita Deven, how we doing? I wanted to salute you guys because I was there on the Sway chats. I've been a long time listener, OG citizen, and I remember catching that and just being from West Virginia. It was like, oh shoot, they're right outside of Charlotte. Let me check them out. So I did, and I couldn't get anything at the time, but I just went online. As soon as I heard Blanket Pancakes, I went online, scooped up the honey butter, scooped up the OG pancake mix as well. So I can't wait to get it in now because it's just the power of manifestation and Sway in the morning and what we're doing for good folks like you guys.
Yes.
So salute to you.
That's very nice to say,
Thank
EJ.
you.
You're gonna love it, love it, love it, love it, and make sure you got. Are you guys still doing like the vanilla and cinnamon, the cinnamon syrup and stuff
Oh, yeah,
like?
absolutely.
Man,
Yes.
listen, you better add that in your cart, EJ. Stop playing. You a citizen, baby.
Wait a moment.
Listen, we got Curtis on the line calling in from Maryland. What up, Kurt?
Kurt.
Hey, what's going on, family?
What's
How's
up, baby?
everybody doing today?
Good
Good.
morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I just wanted to give you guys a huge congratulations and shout out. Much success to you guys.
Yeah.
And Heather, I needed this today. I haven't been able to really listen to you guys since the pandemic. And I literally just pulled up to my storage unit. I owned the gym. I had to close it due to COVID. And I've been just toying with persevering and so I have literally a 6,000 square foot gym that I'm about to start unpacking, and I haven't literally listened to you guys in probably 2 years. And I was like, well, let me just put on Shade 45 because I'm in my wife's car. Her Sirius works. It doesn't work in my car. And to just hear what you were saying with God and timing and as I literally was about to put on gloves to start unpacking all this stuff and and then to hear your guys' success, I really needed that today.
Amen.
I'm about to get sweaty and do some real grunt work, but I believe in health.
Yes.
I believe that, I've written a book, diabetes and
Hey, what's the name? Let's give you some light, Kurt. What's the name of your book?
The book is called The Itis Revealed.
The Itis Revealed. Is it on Amazon?
Yes, it is. I'm actually in the process of relaunching it, but it's a look at sugar's role through history, how it fueled the slave trade, how it's still enslaving us today, and how we can finally break free from its shackles.
Wow.
So I'm a big believer in cutting out sugar, processed carbs. I will be buying a pancake mix. I don't eat pancakes because of that, but I will now. So I'm really looking forward to hitting my Food Lion. And I just want to big all you guys up, man. It's just so wild timing. I mean, I literally put the car in park.
It's divine, Curtis. It's divine.
Yeah.
Accept that confirmation, brother. Just accept it. I used to try to fight it too, Curtis. You can't make this up.
Curtis, you actually sent me this book, I believe, didn't you?
You know what? I did. I sent you guys the book literally as COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you got the copies. I sent them to all you guys.
I remember.
I'd love
Yes,
to
we
say-
got it. I got it. Yes.
Yeah, I ain't
Thank
get
you.
mine, Curtis. Let me go
Yeah.
back in that office and find out what's good.
It was literally like as everything was shutting down.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would love to send you guys another copy. But hey, I just want to thank you. I needed this. Thank you.
Well, congratulations
Amen.
to
God
you,
bless you,
Curtis.
brother. God bless you.
You got this, Curtis.
For sure. Quentin, you're on the line calling in from the shop. What's your question for Marquita and Deven? What's going on with you, Quentin?
First of all, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Flowers
morning.
to you, Heather,
Thank
Tracy, DB, Mike, Muse, everybody. And congratulations to Marquita and Deven.
Yes.
So I'm in the process of doing the same thing. I want to scale my business to the point where I can be in stores. So my question for Marquita and Deven is, what was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome to get there?
Wow, because it's a lot. I think the biggest.
Be real about it.
I think the biggest is what my husband said earlier. You really do have to plan for it, and I know that's like such a huge gap for what I'm trying to
I would
figure
say for me,
the
because
best.
I handle the finance stuff.
Yeah.
The biggest hurdle was really just making sure that your forecasts were right. You understood what the demand was from looking for the stores. So if you're looking at a specific store, let's say your local grocer, find out what the total store count is. Then ask yourself, if you're going to propose, having your products into the store, how many of those stores can you really service, and then regionalize. If it's a nationwide store chain, regionalize that initial ask. Make it very realistic to them.
So did you guys start with one store, or was it automatically like all the food lines in Virginia?
So we started with just local and all the food lines in North Carolina. So that's about 500 stores in and of itself.
Ooh.
Wow.
But we only started with 2 products because we didn't want to overwhelm ourselves either. That was something that was a lot more manageable for us. We could manage the distribution on those orders. It was something we could do with our smaller team. But for the next go around, we made sure that, we were in position to do at least 4 SKUs. So the next store we entered into was actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, but we're in World Market as well. So we're nationwide with World Market.
Wow.
Nice. Congratulations.
We're also in Walmart as well.
Walmart and World Market.
Yes.
Nice.
So
Wow.
with Walmart, we said, nope, let's keep it local. Let's keep it small right now. Walmart's a giant. So we focus primarily on just the Carolinas to get started. And then our next phase of pushing is going to be strictly just the Northeast.
Got it.
We're going to stay on the East Coast
Awesome.
because that helps us manage our distribution a lot better.
Yeah.
So, really, it's always great to be ambitious and have faith, but also write your vision down and make it plain and make sure it's realistic, because the retailers want to make sure you have a plan for success.
Well, that's one of their main questions. When you meet with a retailer, they will ask you, what can you handle? Where do you see your products? And how well do you see your products being in a particular location? So that's why I say the biggest thing is planning, but it's really, it all works together.
Yeah.
The planning, the finances, and really your distribution. So
And know your worth too. So, you have to have a conversation. You're not begging someone to get on the shelf. You want to make sure your products are successful when you get on the shelf. So you ask them questions about, what programs do they have to help you market your products, to make sure you have awareness to your brand when you get it in the stores, because it doesn't do any good just to say it's there and you're not selling or you're not getting reorders.
Yep.
So really make sure that you have that conversation with your buyer, know who your buying team is, and really do your research on whatever retailer you're trying to enter into.
And again, to what Devin is saying, Quentin, placement. That placement in the store. I when my dad, he dealt in food for so many years, and he was like, I can put you in any store and you're gonna find Intamins. No matter what store you go to, you're gonna find Intamins because it's at the end of the aisle. They pay for that space. It's never you got to go down aisle 9 and dig in the middle. You're going to know what Intamins is. It's a reason for that. You're going to know where the English muffins are. It's a reason that they have that placement in there. That all plays a part of who's in front of the store, who's in back of the store. You don't think about that as the shopper because you're just going along. But as soon as I say it, it's like, oh, snap. It is always at the end of the aisle. I never thought about that. Reason and placement.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because now I'm going to also go back to the original question that you asked. And I would say, if your product is already out on market, it's so important to have the people to, even just if it's a small community on Facebook or Instagram, to have the people there to support and know about your brand, because that word of mouth is honestly what got us through the doors. That first conversation, that first phone call from this show got us through the doors because they heard about our brand before we met with any buyer. So I think it's really key, when you're dealing with grocery stores and placement, you also have to know, that people
what you're looking for.
Exactly.
They're looking for. And start going to your stores, even if you don't think it. It's not there. Hey, do you guys have blanket pancakes?
You can request.
No, we don't
That's
have
what
that.
we need.
Come back. Send your girlfriend in. You guys have blanket. Like, what the hell is this blanket pancakes? I had 10 people coming. I'm telling you, my father broke down the whole game to me about food years ago. I didn't really understand it because it started at age 11. So to understand exactly how it works, Quentin, ask those questions and send people in there looking for your product before it even hit the shelf.
Word.
We love you.
Well, Heather, you already know about my product.
What's your product?
Struggleberry Bakery, the cookies.
Oh,
we ate your cookies, Quentin. We ate your cookies. Really good cookies, brothers. You should follow
Wait a minute.
him.
So you guys You guys got the new cookies that I sent?
Yeah, we got them and we ate them in the same day. Tone ate them. Like you wanted us to save them?
I wanted you to make sure Sway got one.
What Sway was here. Sway was here for those cookies. We opened them up in the pack. Yeah, we was here. Yeah, people should follow you. Give out your social media. You make incredible cookies. Give it out.
So it's Struggle Beard Bakery, as in struggle beard. You know, my beard doesn't quite fill in. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, it is The Real SB Bakery, and the website is www.strugglebeardbakery.com.
He
Can you
makes
do me a favor too?
incredible cookies. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, go ahead, add us on Instagram.
I already did. As soon as I heard y'all, that was the first thing I did.
Yeah,
the
'cause we need to follow up
community
with you
here is awesome.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And he has
Many
some great
blessings to
product.
y'all. Thanks for taking my call and answering my questions. I'll be hitting you guys up soon and buying your product.
Man, God bless Quentin. Appreciate you, brother.
I love it.
I'm going to let Mike Muse jump in right after I take this call from somebody from y'all home state of North Carolina. Liz, what you want to say to your people?
What up, Liz?
Liz.
First of all, I'm not going to say anything that nobody else has said. Thanks be to God, because this is divinity. The fact that I'm in my car and hearing, and that y'all are my neighbors. What's up, fam? I really, really appreciate what you're doing. And Heather B., I thank you for highlighting this, because it is so, so important that we take back ownership of what we put into our bodies. With all of the disease that's going on and all of the stuff, we don't know what we're eating, and we're losing control of that. And I just really thank you guys. I'm actually on my way to Elizabeth City Food Line right now, and they better have these pancakes. They better have them. So I really appreciate that.
Yes, much love. And if they don't, Liz, blow them up and tell them they don't know what they're doing. They better get their Blanket Pancake in the building. All right, love you, Liz.
And Heather, I love you too. I really want to let you know I'm speaking it into existence, and I might owe you some royalties. The past like a month ago, you were heavy on that Yolanda Adams on that Thankful Thursday. I was in my bathtub, and I started a company without my first chicken, Victory Pastures. I have locked in that name. I am starting pasteurized chickens because I want all natural, antibiotic, hormone-free food for my children. I'm going to call you in a year, Heather, and I'm going to be sending you some of the best chicken you've ever had in your life.
Come on, you better go ahead and say it. You better go ahead and say it. Hey, Liz, I'm on Instagram at the Happy Hour WHB. Follow me. Let's communicate, girl. Let's talk. All right, the Happy Hour WHB.
Absolutely. I thank you.
Amen.
I love you guys.
We
Thank
love you too.
Love you, Mama.
Go ahead, Mike.
These are so great. As you can see, we have a lot of listeners who are interested in starting their own business, particularly around food. So if you don't mind, I'm going to keep leaning into this just a little bit, because I'm just so proud of you two, right? And I think just here will be a teachable moment. It's almost like a workshop for a citizen. So if I lean in just a little bit to the business, that's just kind of where it's coming from. I just want to double down. I love how you talk about managing expectations about the inventory and keeping up with what is possible in order to fulfill the orders for the supermarkets, and the relationship and the management of that. Again, just managing expectations is so key and clutch. For those who are interested, I mean, you guys are crushing it. Walmart, World Market, right? The Food Lions. How can some of our listeners, like Liz and the Struggle Beard, right? How do they get into like these places? Are there incubators you can talk about, right? Are there apprenticeship programs? Are there cohorts and fellowships? And if you can kind of give us a little bit inside of that, so some of our listeners can like know where to go. Because everybody just can't walk up into Walmart.
I noticed that, in North Carolina, we have a lot of different ways to like, what is it? The main one I would say.
So the Food Innovation Lab. So NC State sponsors the Food Innovation Lab, which is kind of a cohort of a lot of different universities, North Carolina state universities, that get together to help, start businesses in the state, around agriculture and food. So that's a really good place to start. The state itself, North Carolina's a great state for starting a food business, because it is a huge agricultural state. There's grants and there's a lot of opportunities for developing that. Really, we did a lot of personal research. So, one of the first things Marquita had to find out, she became her own food scientist and found out, okay, what is water activity? What are the things that you need to have a sauce or a syrup-based product? Googling it, following up, reaching out to different universities who can actually do that process.
Oh, wow.
And getting you certified.
And that's what I was going to say, because in North Carolina, we're really keen in that because that's where we're from. But most universities have, and we found out the hard way. So I'm glad that we're here today to be able to talk to other people. If you're in the process of starting a food company, most universities have programs, food science programs, and that can help you. You know, and when you call them, you basically let them know what you're trying to do, especially like in the food science, nutrition area. Most universities, if they have the program, that's the first question. Do you have a program for food science? If they do, they work with outside public. You would think that it's just for the university, but it's for the outside public.
Yeah, and if they don't do it directly, they can give you more resources in your state to help you with that. Because if you go to an outside company, you know, there's companies who'll do everything for you in terms of getting your product, you know, from, you know, concept to, you know, a bottle finished product, but you're going to pay a lot of money for that as well. You know, they charge you a premium for that. So there are a lot of free or affordable solutions out there.
I think the next thing would be to definitely just get community support. I can't stress that out enough. I really can't, because the more we have, you know, you guys backing us, the more we have you guys really, you know, echoing, we need this brand. Or for instance, if it's your brand that you're trying to put out, the more you have people supporting you saying we need your brand, is the more that the big box offices will pay attention and say, okay, hold on, I keep hearing this knock. Let's open the door.
Right.
You know?
Right. Let's talk a little bit about product names and trademarking. Yeah, absolutely. Because earlier in Celebrity Wow, we were talking about Kim Kardashian's skincare line that's dropping later this month, and how the name is very similar to Lori Harvey's. They're both called Skin. Kim Kardashian's got 2 Ks in it. Lori Harvey just got 1 K. Meanwhile, there's a whole other black woman who's owned it since 2018. So can you guys share the origin story behind the name Blanket, and just like walk us through? It might be obvious to some people, but maybe it's not so obvious, just the steps you went in researching to make sure that the name wasn't taken and the trademark process.
That is such a good question, because the name, as you said, as far as with Blanket, is so simple. So Deven and I, we really did do the research on our own. We didn't have money to go to a lawyer. We didn't have it. So we had to kind of do the research and use Google. I know people tell you stay away from Google, but hey, you use the tools that you have to get to the next step, to open the door for the real, you know, I'm going to say the real step. So we kind of walked our way till we could get it, pretty much. But the Blanket came from, honestly, me being an education major, you know, I was a special education teacher prior to the food business, and I noticed that a lot of, you know, the children that I worked with, some of them not, you know, they would have different coping mechanisms, you know.
The coping mechanisms, like some have security blankets, some have like a toy, or something to help them, you know, feel reassured when they start getting stressed out. Even when I was a kid, I had a little blanket for a while.
We all did,
So, you know, and that's really the name behind Blanket came from that understanding of, we want this to be experience that people, we want to use a name that people can trust. So when you think about a blanket, you're thinking about comfort, you're thinking about warmth, security, reliability. So we wanted people to feel those same emotions when they thought about our products. So that's really where the name Blanket came from. And then also, it's kind of a play on words, because when you pour the syrup on your pancake, we say you're blanketing your pancake.
And
the syrup.
And when we called, actually, we had called a librarian. Who was it? We called
the library. We went to the library.
Yeah, and she said, well, that name Blanket is too simple. You're not going to be able to trademark that name and things of that sort. But when we began to research it, I said, okay, no. Deven and I, we went and read the fine print. Hey, we can trademark this, or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't suggest for you to just go out and do the way we did, because we learned and fell down a little bit.
It's this process. It's the process.
Yes. But we ultimately got it trademarked.
Perfect.
So yeah.
What, Mike Muse, one last question?
This is a comment.
Okay.
I mean, I think all the calls I'm sure calling up, that was a great question, Tracy G. The takeaway for me is you guys have done the work.
Yes.
And that's why you guys have success.
Yes.
And I get so irritated when people call up or hit me up in a DM. Everybody wants the magic answer.
Yes.
Everybody wants that one bullet. What was that one obstacle you went through so that I could overcome it and I'm going to be rich in Walmart and Walmart? But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Listen to your story, Heather B. If you listen to them,
You
the
know,
work,
I know.
I mean, I'm just bringing you in, like the work y'all have done.
Yeah.
Even you just saying you went to the library. It's amazing how people have ideas. They call up here, they DM us with all these great ideas and don't do the work. And they expect us to
do
take
it
it
for
for
them.
them
Yeah.
and lead them to that.
Wow.
Audience, if you're listening, YouTube, when you watch this back, listen to how much work they put into it.
Yeah.
The library, calling up your local universities,
Yep.
looking at the science, learning the ingredients,
Yep.
figuring out the ingredients, knocking on the doors. It takes work.
Yes.
You can't sit on the couch and just do Instagram. And think that's going to be the answer.
No.
Salute to you guys for doing the work, and that's why you have the success.
Yeah.
You don't have the success for anything else. Yes, in the morning, people call all
You were
that.
But that
ready.
came
Yeah, you
after.
were ready.
Exactly. You was ready.
You were ready,
ready.
and
You
and,
put
and that's
the
the
work.
work in.
It's
That's
not
why,
about
yeah.
y'all getting on here that made it happen. I mean,
Yes.
everything works amplified, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But y'all
No,
did the work.
you did the work, and the frustration you're hearing slightly from Mike is because he's right. We have people call up here with great ideas sometimes, and we'll say, "What's your social media?"
Your
Yeah.
website.
I'm low key. I ain't doing that right now. You know what? We have to hang up. It's no disrespect to anybody, but you can't tell me you've been sitting around and dreaming and having this vision and this vision board and writing in your journal and praying and asking God to bless you with this, and then you get this opportunity and you don't have a website. I can't talk to you.
Right.
You
You're
don't
not
have
ready.
no product or
Yes.
no. You in the rubber band business. I'm trying to buy rubber bands. You tell me your product is not ready.
Come on, there's
I'm going on to
prerequisites.
the next
Yeah.
caller.
And don't give me a coming soon tag.
Coming soon.
When you go on their website, you click on the tag, coming soon. Coming
Right.
soon.
Under
Coming
construction.
soon. Under construction. I'm not coming back to you no more.
No.
You
Yeah.
get one
I
shot.
I have to give my wife credit for this because my wife, Marquita, she is the hardest working person I know. So she gets up 5:30 in the morning, just starts working on new recipes. Like we
on.
have probably about 20 different recipes that we haven't released yet because it's a timing thing for most things.
Yeah.
But we just built out in our warehouse a new studio for her, where it's a creative space so she can just go
Do
in
her
there
thing.
and just work and just focus and meditate and hear from God and just start working on new ingredients.
Wow.
It's even when it comes to like just create a new pancake recipe, it's what percentage of chocolate chips should I put in
Yep.
there? How much buttermilk do we
Yep.
use?
Yes.
It's those little minute things that people really don't take the
They
time
don't-
to,
Yeah.
every little bit
Yep.
counts.
It's all
Yep.
intentional.
It's
That's
all.
why they-
It is. It's all very intentional. So.
So happy for y'all.
y'all
man.
really
you.
happy for you guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for
It
having
is
us.
real, y'all. They are here. Look them up yourself. Marquita and Deven Carter. It's Blanket Pancakes. You will not be disappointed. I promise y'all. Y'all know how funny style I am about food. Support Blanket
True.
Pancakes. Yeah, if I don't like it, I
Yes.
tell them, hey man, you should go back and go figure it out. But I wave y'all flag every chance I get
Yes.
because Blanket Pancakes is the truth. Thank y'all so much for joining and
you.
continue the success. I don't know why when y'all was talking, I just kind of see y'all on television. So maybe that's
too.
something
Me
that's
too.
coming, your way. So maybe whether it's an interview. Robin Roberts,
it,
somebody,
too.
something.
Today show.
Yeah, one of those kind of things very soon for you guys. So
thank you.
stay prepared. Stay prepared for
Really
sure.
got, you
Yeah,
just gotta
man,
fix
for
yourself.
sure, for sure. Thank y'all. And get that Blanket Pancakes for sure. We got more Sway in the morning, though, you guys.